Hello world, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Welcome to Simplicity is Tea. I am ToriDenise. If you guys are new, go ahead and pause this video, hit that subscription button and click that notification bell so you guys get an update when I drop another vlog. And if you guys are old and returning, what's up y'all? Y'all already know the vibes, that's why you subscribe. But yeah, as you guys can tell by the title, this is a serious vlog. Not necessarily serious, but it is serious. It's a serious matter, okay? I wanted to get my story out there because October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and I just wanted to share my story because lately I've been watching a lot of murder documentaries, and it's been involving a lot of women losing their lives behind the hands of a man. And unfortunately, as sad as it is within our Black community as a whole. So before we even start this video, if you know someone or if you are currently in a domestic violence situation, please just reach out to somebody. If you don't want to talk to a friend or anything like that, you can call this line right here, this number. They can help you. If you want to reach out to me, my DMs are always open via Instagram. This is my Instagram channel right there. Make sure you guys, if you want, you can talk to me. This is a safe space and a safe haven for those who are currently battling a silent battle like I was, which was 10 years ago. So it was, I want to say it started, my domestic violence situation was between me and Christian's dad. Now, I do understand that as of right now in 2023, we have a great co-parenting relationship, but we weren't always here. So this video isn't to bash him or anything like that, but this video is to help people, especially girls like me, because some girls, they don't make it out like me. Some girls, literally, like I said, I've been watching these documentaries, they don't make it. So just to put the disclaimer out there, this is not to bash his dad or anything like that. There is a power with growth in God, and God can change a lot. So simple. I want to say my domestic violence situation it started maybe April. No. Yeah, I want to say April. No. Yeah. Yeah, no, the very first time that he ever put his hands on me, I remember like it was yesterday. I had my very first apartment. I was 21 years old. I had just turned 21. I had just literally just turned 21. It was my birthday, and I was going out with my old best friend from the video that I was talking about. If you guys are familiar with that story, click that link, you'll know. But yes, going to celebrate my 21st birthday. Mind you guys, I had just lost my mom 7 months prior to that. My mom had just passed away in December of 2013. So I had turned 21 June 1st of 2014. Man, y'all. I remember going out with a friend of mine, and I didn't go out like that after I had Christian, because even when my mom passed away, like I was already in a depression, etc., etc. So my friends, they were really trying to get me out of my funk. Now at the time, me and Christian's dad, we were not together. We broke up December of 2012, and then a month later I found that I was pregnant. So that's how it ended, long story short. So we were never together. But he was a huge help. When my mom passed away, I felt, in a way, I kind of did feel like he took advantage of me to a certain extent, because I was vulnerable and I was going through a state of emotion. But at the same time, I'm not here to cast stones. That's neither here nor there. But I remember coming into the house. It was like 3 o'clock. Y'all, we partied hard. We partied down so hard that night that I was drenched, soaking wet. Like, I had a good time though. That was the first time I had went out since my mom had passed away. So to me, I felt like, one, it's my 21st birthday. Why can't I celebrate? And then 2, I'm a mom. I haven't been out. I'm 6 months postpartum. 7 months post losing my mom. Like, not even 6 months postpartum. Take that back. No, at this time, I want to say Christian was 4, let me see, September, October. No, he was 9 months. No. 9 months at the time. So I was 9 months postpartum and things like that. So for me, I felt like I deserved to get out and have fun and do something for myself. So I remember I didn't get in the house until like 3 o'clock that night. And y'all, the minute I walked into the house, I flipped the light on and then boom, it was a steel lampshade, like a steel lamp that was thrown at my head. Had I not ducked, he probably would have hit me and knocked me out. That was the very first time that I've ever seen that type of anger behind Christian's father. Like, we've never had an issue. You know, we had been friends. We were friends in high school. So for me, it was out of body, and I was a little shocked. So I ended up hitting my friend, and I was like, hey girl, he's tripping, he done threw this lamp. I didn't think nothing of it, because for me, being me, it's like, okay, I know my friend, maybe he just mad. I'm just blowing it off. It is what it is. So I was like, girl, it's my friend. She's like, no, I'm coming over there. He's not gonna do that. We're not gonna have that. Da, da, da. I was like, nah, it's not that deep. Like, me and him, we ended up arguing, but it was fine later on. Like, we didn't have that issue. My friend though, she ended up writing him on Facebook and I guess going off on him or whatever. He did end up apologizing for throwing the lamp. So fast forward to, I think one night we were arguing so bad. Like, I don't even know what we was arguing about, but we were arguing so bad to the point where my neighbors, the courtesy officer lived underneath me. So he ended up running upstairs because he heard how loud we were. And in that moment, he ended up pushing me. And I guess the gentleman heard us from underneath. He ran upstairs, the cops were called. They ended up doing like this little check, and they were saying, well, if this happens again, you guys are gonna go to jail because y'all got a kid, yada yada yada, blah 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 blah. Long story short. So when it came to me and Christian's father, our fights never really were super physical, but they were always verbal. So verbal abuse is a thing, ladies. So that's still domestic violence. Just saying. But yeah, like I was saying, it never really got to a point where it was that physical. I want to say the very first day that, I mean, honestly, it's really I would make excuses for him. I mean, the very first day that he ever really just went crazy, it was one day I ended up moving out of my apartment and moving in with him. Long story short, I needed a place to go, and I wasn't cool, quote unquote, close to my father at the time, so I didn't want to live with him. And my grandparents, they literally stayed across the street, his apartment complex, and then we just walked around the corner and boom, my grandparents' house sat on the corner. So my grandparents was an option, but I just didn't want to burden somebody with me and my child. So his dad was like, well, I'm rarely home, you can come and you can stay with me and we can figure it out. Okay, cool. So long story short, it was one night I had started dating people. Like, I was just texting them here and every now and then. And this particular guy, I had just started talking to my ex at the time. Christian's father had already felt like my brother influenced this relationship because they were friends at the time, but I promise it was never nothing like that. But you can't tell people nothing. Once they got their mind made up, they got their mind made up. So for him, all I remember, y'all, I was waking up. This was the very first time he ever like physically put his hands on me. I was sleeping and I just remember waking up to a fist in my face. And it was just like, you out here effing on other niggas, da 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 da. Yeah, y'all just going crazy. Ham. Mind you, my baby was in the next seat. He was literally asleep next to me. He woke Christian up by crying. Christian was crying. It was just a lot, and it startled me because one, I had never been hit by a man before. My daddy didn't even hit me, y'all. Like, it used to kill my daddy to try to give us a whooping. Like, he would not whoop me because I was his baby girl. I'm my daddy's only girl. Like, So for me, it threw me off because one, I had never been physically abused. Two, I've never been attacked. So, and then three, I was asleep. So to startle someone with a fist flying in their face, yeah. So long story short, he ended up apologizing. Or what? No, yeah. He ended up apologizing because I don't want to go too deep in it. We went through a long little period of domestic violence. I just want to get to the part where it really was. It was either bitch you or you're gonna be 6 feet deep. I remember the day that we got really into it. He wanted a relationship and I didn't, and I really was just at a point where I wanted to find my own for me and my child. I was getting ready to get me another apartment or either live with my grandparents, and he wanted me to go with him to his family's event, which was 4th of July. And me being me, I'm like, well, I don't want to go because I don't want to give them, portray an image that is something when it's not. So he was like, no, you can come with me, da da da. So y'all, we get to the family event, and he basically, everything that we talked about was completely flipped. It was as if he just said, I don't care what you say, we're a family, this is how it's gonna go, simple as that. What I say is what I say. So as we're sitting down, I ended up getting a text message, and I'm guessing that triggered him. So the text message triggered him, and all I can remember is him getting up, storming out, grabbing my keys, taking my baby. He literally pulled off with my vehicle. I'm sitting outside. At that point, I had a sick press. It was starting to rain, so I'm over here looking like a little Furby. He comes back with my child. All of our stuff is packed up in my car with my child in the back seat, screaming. At that point, y'all, I decided to choose me, and it was just a lot. Just throughout those periods, there was a moment where he choked me, and he would be like, if you scream, I'm gonna kill you. If you don't shut up, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. Like things such as that. I believed it. And it was in that moment that I told myself, you either gotta choose you, because you gotta be here for your baby. And if you die, your child ain't gonna have nobody. He's not gonna have his dad because he's gonna be in jail, and he's not gonna have you because you're gonna be 6 feet under. So which one? I think for me, the wake up calling with him putting everything in the car and me driving to my grandparents' house and, you know, just explaining the situation, the wake up calling was realizing who I was dealing with. Fast forward, I ended up finding me an apartment. This was July of 2015. I ended up finding me an apartment or whatever. At this point, Christian's won. We were doing well with our co-parents, and he would still have like little every now and then, but at the time I had moved out of my apartment and went to go live with my father. This was before I was living with him. So when I decided to move out of his place, this was July 2015. So this was after the whole fiasco with the cops showing up to our house. Moved in with my dad, moved out of my dad's house, and ended up moving in with him. So that's how it happened. That's why I said I didn't feel comfortable staying with my dad, because we would just always argue. So fast forward to me finding a place. I ended up texting him. I was like, hey, I ended up finding a place. My brother will be in town. I wanted to know when is a good time for me to stop by to come get the rest of like all my stuff. So my couch, everything in that house I furnished. He didn't really have much because he was never there. He had just got the apartment, but he was really never there. So all the furniture, my bed, Christian's bed, the couch, everything was mine, even the towels and everything. So yes, he was just like, well, we can coordinate the time. And I was just like, well, when do you get off? He was like, you're gonna need some help. I was like, are you not gonna help me? He was like, no, I'm not gonna help you. You need to get your nigga to do it. So apparently down the line, somebody told him that I had started dating somebody. But mind you, my ex lived in Atlanta, so I didn't understand how he even knew. But come to find out, he ended up hacking my Facebook page, so I ended up having to change my password. But he hacked my Facebook page, and that's how he found out that I was dating. So yeah, that's what it is. And then the reason why I got hit in my sleep is because he ended up going through my phone, and he saw text messages between me and this guy. So real crazy. At the time, y'all, it was real toxic. You gotta think about it. We were we were 20 and 21 years old, 19, 20 years old, 18, 19 years old, 17, 18 years old when we got together. So from 17 years old all the way to 22, it was a lot. It was a little whirlwind for sure. But yeah, fast forward. Long story short, I ended up getting my stuff. My brother ended up calling his line brother, and they ended up getting my stuff. I left like small things in the apartment because I just didn't have time to get it. So I ended up calling him later that day, and I was like, hey, is it okay for me to come over and get the rest of my stuff? And he's like, you should have got your stuff when you first came over here. I was like, well, I had to get Christian. I had to cut my day short. I just want to come over there and get the rest of Christian's things and the rest of my things. Got over there, I'm thinking everything is cool. I'm like, all right, let me go ahead and get my stuff. So I'm grabbing things, and then I grabbed the paper towel handle roll, and he was like, yeah, you should have been getting that when you was getting shit that wasn't yours. And I'm like, everything that I got in this house was mine. So at this point, I just felt like he was just trying to start an argument, and I really just wasn't here for it. I had got my apartment, I got a new place. Honey, it was my very first big girl apartment without anybody living with me, without anybody helping me or anything like that. Like, this was mine. Me and my sons. It was a fresh start. It was 500 and something square foot. I was paying $550 in rent, and I was making $7.25 an hour. Baby, me and Christian was good. Me and Christian was good. And I lived on a nice part of town. If you guys are familiar with Augusta, I lived on Washington Road at the time. So, and if you stayed on Washington Road and you was a single mom and you was a black female and you was fine, baby, you was doing the tea, period. So fast forward, he was just like, I was like, everything that I took is mine, but I'm not trying to have this argument with you, so it is what it is. So we're outside, and I'm like, well, hey, the daycare, I said, oh, by the way, the daycare called me and said that the balance hasn't been paid this week. Can you explain why? He was like, get your nigga to do it. So in my mind, I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with this man? I said, what do you mean? I said, what do you mean he's yours? My man don't got nothing to do with this. So at this point, I did admit to it, because at this, you're fishing for information when you could just ask me. So he was like, okay, cool. And I was just like, so you're not gonna get it? Like I said, get your nigga to do it. I said, all right, bet, whatever, that's here, neither here nor there. I said, well, Christian also needs pull-ups, and he needs milk and juice. And like I said, get your nigga to do it. So at that point, for me, it was just more so of this is a personal thing, and this has nothing to do with our child. At this point, you're upset because I decided to move on, but I've been moved on. When we broke up in 2012, I moved on. I didn't get it. Like December of 2012, we broke up. That was me moving on. I didn't see a future with him. I didn't like him, how he felt for me. I didn't feel that way, and it sucks because I feel bad because I feel like I wasted somebody's time, but at the same time, I was 18, 19 years old. So I did the right thing by walking away, and it triggered him, I guess. Fast forward, I was like, okay, whatever, I'm not gonna argue with you. If that's how you feel, it is what it is. At that point, I was like, all right, I'm about to start getting my little stuff together to place you on child support. So I then said, okay, well, can I just go ahead and let me just finish getting the rest of this stuff? You ain't getting shit, bitch. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not about to argue with you. It's not even worth it. I said, I'll just figure it out. Don't even worry about it. I'll just get him new stuff. So as I'm getting in the car, he was like, Hannah, I ought to beat your ass for taking the shit that wasn't yours. I was like, you're crazy. You'll probably do it for real. And next thing you know, guys, as I'm getting in the car to go buckle up, my whole entire door just swings open, and I just feel a vicious, and it's just banging, 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 banging. At this point, I've blacked out. My arm is my arm is basically like this because I can't move, because mind you, I was getting ready to put my seatbelt on, and I hear my child screaming. I don't know what it was, like what I was thinking in that moment, but in that moment, truth be told, I thought I was gonna die. I ended up having a black eye, a busted lip, a fractured nose, a fractured larynx, which is that dangly thing in the back of your throat, 2 busted eardrums because the way he was hitting me, and a fractured rib cage. When I say one of the reasons why I do not trust the police officers is because of this particular situation. When it comes to Black women, we, in a way, I feel like we're not necessarily protected because of bullshit ass cops, like narcissists like these type of situations. So I ended up calling the police. I ended up regaining consciousness because I did black out. When I got up, he was completely gone. I didn't even know where he went, and Christian was still screaming in the back of the damn seat. So so when I contacted the police department, the officer at the time, he was a rookie cop, but regardless, I don't care if you're a rookie or not, like, do your fucking job. The officer came, and long story short, when he pulls up, he basically wrote down a statement. I told him what happened. He came back to the vehicle and tells me, unfortunately, ma'am, I won't be able to take him to jail because you don't have any witnesses, and the only witness that you have is your toddler, and he does not talk. Y'all, when I say this whole entire part of my face was just swollen, and I'm just like, what do you mean? He said, well, per the gentleman, you already had those bruises prior to you coming here. I said, sir, absolutely not. I said, I can barely even talk. Like, y'all was really talking to this man like this. I can barely even talk to you. What do you mean? Right then and there, I just cranked my car up and just drove. And when I say, I don't think I prayed as hard as I did until that moment, because it really shocked me, because I'm just like, wow, like as a woman, I'm supposed to be protected. I'm already not protected because this is somebody that I laid down and had a child with, and this is the person that's putting me in harm's way. And then you have the police officers that's supposed to protect, serve, and all this other stuff that's basically just said, I'm taking his side and you're fucked. So for me, the only way I can get my story out was social media. I blasted Facebook, Instagram. Eventually, I did take them off that night because the sheriff ended up contacting me. My brother, I ended up calling my brothers. I call my brothers after the fact because I know how they are. My family, they got a lot to lose. So for me, this is one of the reasons as to why I kept things to myself. And this is why I'm telling people out there, please, ladies, don't ever keep things to yourself. I don't care if you could tell one person. If you don't tell that one person, make sure you tell that person and they go tell somebody. Stop fucking protecting these niggas. Stop protecting these little boys, because little boys put their hands on women. Grown men protect women. For me in that moment to know that this officer was not going to take this person that put me and my child in harm's way, it threw me. It affected my trust behind police officers for a long time. On top of that, being transparent, Caucasian police officers, Caucasian people, it triggered me, because I'm just like, wow, have I been this naive to know that women are being protected, or have I just never been in this situation? And this wasn't my first run-in with a cop, but this was my first run-in with a cop behind something that somebody did to me. He violated me. Like, for months, I just felt so small as a woman. Like, I felt bad. And when they did end up coming to pick him up or whatever, by that time my brothers and them, they had got into town, was looking for him. Like, at this point, it's gone, he's gone. He ended up going to jail. And I remember getting a letter in the mail, and he basically just was apologizing for everything besides hitting me. It wasn't until 2023, this year, August to be exact, where I received my apology, like a genuine, sincere apology. And mind you, here we are 10 plus years later, and I'm receiving that. I say that to say, no matter what you're going through, especially if children are involved, my situation was big, but it wasn't as big as the next person, because I did speak up. I went and got help. At the time, Christian's dad, he was going through a lot too, and I'm not making excuses for him, because at the end of the day, you put your hands on a woman, you put your hands on a woman. But what I will say, it took a lot of growth for me for us to even get to the point to where we are right now as parents, as people. Like, I'm 30 years old right now, he's 29, so growth was in that. Our very first time actually being able to physically be around each other without any type of altercation or anything like that was 2020. Mind you, that was 3 years ago, y'all. Christian was 8 years old, and no, it's 2021, excuse me. Christian was 8 years old. 2021 was our very first time getting together, which was Christian's birthday party. And then this year was the very first year that we were just able to just co-parent so peacefully. So I say that to say to the single moms out there, it does work, but my journey is completely different from anybody else's. If you are going through a domestic violence situation and you have children with this person, please just get the help that you need. Like, I didn't have a shame with putting that nigga behind bars at all. Was I afraid to be by myself with him when he got out? No, I wasn't fearful, because at the end of the day, I could see that he had changed. However, I was still smart. I was a smart bitch. I still had people come with me. How we are now, like I said, that took time. But get out. If you can, get out. If you need help, seek help. If you don't want to talk to me, call this number. But I cannot, like, just knowing that the system that we have, the judicial system that we have, man, keep everything. No say to take pictures. I don't give a damn if you have to take pictures and send it to a fake email address that this person doesn't know. Like, just keep evidence, because you never know. And a lot of women don't get out. And for the ones that don't get out, we just want to give a silent little prayer for them right now at this time. So we're just going to have a moment of reflection for those who did not make it out of domestic violence situation. But I wanted to share my story because recently I just lost a friend who did not get out of her situation, and it pushed me to get my story out, to just speak up, y'all. You never know what anybody's going through, and the silent battles. I'm a strong ass woman, so for me it was like a light bulb moment that popped up in my head and was like, bitch, get it together. But everybody's not strong-willed like that. Not saying that they're weak, but sometimes behind the hands of a man, you do have that vulnerability, that weakness, especially when somebody shows you one thing and then turns out to be another. But that one thing, you're so used to that, to where you're blindsided by that. You just don't even pay attention to that. So we're going to silently do a silent reflection for the women who have lost their lives behind domestic violence. Like I said before, guys, if you or anybody that you know are currently dealing with a domestic violence situation, please, guys, reach out and get the help that you need. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know this video was a little touchy, a little serious, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like we always say, if you guys aren't already, go ahead and hit that subscription button and click that notification bell so you guys can get an update when I drop another vlog. And if you guys are old and returning, what's up, y'all? Y'all already know the vibes. That's why you subscribe. I hope my story inspire or touch somebody to seek help or get help, or help those who need help. Or if you just want to reach out and talk to your girl and just get more. I personally don't like talking about the situation, which is why I kind of shortened the story, but put the most important part in there, which is to get help and how I got out. But yes, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I shall see y'all on the next vlog. Bye, guys.